Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be talking about books that I DNF'd, which stands for did not finish. I'm both an avid DNFer and a non-DNFer because I speed read. So usually when a book gets too boring, I'm just like flipping pages. But that gets a little frustrating when I'm not interested in any part of the story. So that is why I decide to like DNF books. And today I'm going to talk about some popular ones that I just didn't like to read and didn't care to finish. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please subscribe down below and hit the bell so you know when I post. And yeah, without further ado, let's get on to the video. So the first book I'm going to talk about is Circe by Madeline Miller. And I actually gave this book to Half Price Books, so I don't have a copy of it anymore because I purchased it on Amazon thinking like, oh, I'm going to love this. Am I? The main reason why I DNF'd this book is not because the writing was bad. It wasn't bad. It was because I completely like glossed over what Greek mythology was. In my head, I'm like, laurels and goddesses and beautiful landscapes and Greece and water. Like, that's what I'm thinking. Should have realized that's not what I was going to get because it's about Greek mythology. So a big part of it was my fault. I didn't have the stomach to handle it. I was reading and it just got as graphic as Greek mythology does. And I just hit a point where I'm like, I can't read this. Like, I can't. And I got, I think, I got to around at least 100 pages before I hit that point. And so it does mean a lot when I don't finish those books because usually when I put in that kind of time, I'm finishing it. But I just, So in the book Circe, we follow our protagonist, Circe. She is a goddess, I think the daughter of Helios, which is a sun god. And look at me, know my Greek mythology without having to look it up. And she is the most unliked out of all of the children because her voice, spoiler, her voice is the voice of a mortal, so nobody can stand it. So she has a very squeaky voice. She doesn't look as beautiful as the rest of her siblings, and she's just completely out of place among the gods. Now, if the name Circe reminds you of anyone, it's because she's actually from the Iliad, which when Odysseus goes to like try to find his way home, he encounters the goddess Circe, who turns men into pigs. Which should have been my first clue. Should have been my first clue. That is the first book that I DNF'd. Again, the writing wasn't bad. It's just not for the faint of heart because it's about Greek mythology. I know I'm ranting, but I can't say it enough. I'm so disgusted with myself for thinking I could read this book. So that is the first book that I DNF'd. The next one is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel. And this book was a rec from a booktuber that I avidly watch. And I'd agreed with a lot of the other books that I'd read from the booktuber. So I'm like, oh, well, there's a good chance that I'll like it. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all. It's supposed to have like beautiful lyrical writing, and it's supposed to have like a really entertaining and long developing plot. Basically takes place for several different point of views, and it's set in a dystopian society where the entire world fell to a virus, and now these people go around and do like plays. They travel to grant entertainment to the people who are still alive. And so that's like the main plot. But then you have several main characters, which I already don't like several main characters. So again, why? But I have read a couple recently from different point of views and I've really been digging it. So I thought this was a good chance to see if it's been a fluke or if it's something that I really enjoy. It's been a fluke. The lyrical writing wasn't there, at least I didn't feel like it was there. There were a couple times when it painted a really beautiful picture, but not enough for me to say that it had this beautiful, enchanting lyrical writing. It just felt very basic. The plot was interesting, but I didn't care about the characters, and I have to care about the characters if I'm going to finish a book in any capacity, and I could care less. So I had to DNF this book, and I felt bad about it because I was very close to the ending. I was probably only 50 pages away before I finally just hit a point where I'm like, nah. And then I just stopped reading. So that was the second book that I DNF'd. So the last book that I've DNF'd recently is The Price Guide to the Occult by Leslie Walton, right? Yeah, Leslie Walton. I only got to page 5. So is that technically a DNF, or is that just did not start? I'm not sure. So it might be a DNS. But I started it because I'd heard such great things about the other book, the Sorrowful Tales of Ava Lavender. I don't remember the exact title. I've never read that book. And I read that that book was better than this one. So I thought, well, I'll start with this one. That way I won't overhype it once I finish the other one. And again, I thought beautiful lyrical writing, had a beautiful cover on it. I even put it in my TBR. And I got to page 4, felt like it was a huge information dump. And I don't know if my taste palette just hasn't adapted to where I can just like peruse through all of the information that's presented to me in the first 4 pages and be like, oh, that's what they're doing. I didn't do it. I was annoyed. So I didn't even start this one. And again, yeah, like I feel I probably could have put more effort into it, but it's just like, I'm already reading enough books. I don't really want to read books that I have no interest in. And that might sound harsh. And if you love any of the books that I mentioned, then absolutely keep reading them. A lot of booktubers put down some of my favorite books. And I love watching them. I love watching why they don't like them, but still being able to say like, oh no, they're my babies. So those are the list of books that I've DNF'd, which is only 3 so far, which I'm feeling pretty good about because the ratio of finishing to not finishing is nice and low. But yeah, for one reason or another, those books just didn't work for me. If you have any recommendations for books that will, feel free to comment down below. I'm also going to start reading more biography. So if there's any like biography that you'd like me to read or any kind of nonfiction book, put it down there and then I will get to it. That way I can have as well-rounded of a channel as physically possible. That's what my goal is. I hope you guys have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye.